Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the Frontline Changes report. And another day, another Frontline Changes report. The past 24 hours, a lot of Frontline Changes. By the look of it, it's going to be more than 20 square kilometers. So we're going to hide this first. We're going to go straight to the first one. Is over in the Dvorichna front. So over at the Dvorichna front, this is Dvorichna. This is the Oskil River. And over in Krasny Pershi, a geolocation of Russian forces on the edge of this forest. So we're going to zoom in a bit. So basically here in this hilly gully region here, this confirms that the Russian forces have fully secured all of these areas here. The report says that this is actually shelling by Ukrainian forces. So, and with the Russian forces confirmed to be in Krasny Pershi and at this age here, means that the Russian forces have fully taken the entire riverbank region. So all of this area here is now confirmed, secured by the Russian forces, leading to yet an expansion of the beachhead or bridgehead across the Oskil River. So the Russians have a firm position in the Kharkiv region, which means that the Russians is likely to continue. And it's important to also note, Kharkiv is not part of the oblast that is claimed by the Russian side. So this effort and investment into the Kharkiv oblast is not normal. Which means that we're going to see one day that Russians is going to claim the Kharkiv region, like almost certainly. So like, why invest so much into this region when this is actually Kharkiv? You know, this all of this area here is Kharkiv. This is not Lugansk. So the Russians are definitely going to go for Kharkiv Oblast, because they want the frog one day. So there's a frog here, in case you didn't see. Yeah. So the next front line change, we go to the Siversk front. Siversk at Bilohorivka, the Ukrainians continue to retract their claims over this impossible salient. So let me turn this off. So this Bilohorivka, so this salient that was previously stretched all the way to the chalk quarry is now continued to reduce. So according to the Ukrainian mapping, they have just disclaimed this area here, this forest hilly region, another forest hilly region, now taken by the Russian forces southwest of Bilohorivka. And which means that in the Bilohorivka region, the Russian forces have taken all of the Luhansk region in this area here. The Luhansk that's left, that is still yet to be so-called liberated by the Russian forces, is this sector here in the Siversk forestry. I think everything else north okay. Also in Kharkivka, as well as further up, over here. Yeah, there's still some Lugansk left that the Russians need to capture according to their mandate now. So that is this change from the Ukrainian side. The frontline change is around 1 kilometer, but yeah, it's probably already lost to the Russians long time ago. The next frontline change is at Shevchenko Pershi over in the Pokrovsk front. So this is Pokrovsk, this is Minohrad, and at Shevchenko Pershi, the Russian forces, according to the Ukrainian mapping by Deep State UA, have captured huge amount of grounds here. So this actually corroborates the Russian Defense Ministry's claim, because the Russians have claimed that they have captured Shevchenko Pershi, and in the latest information they have declared they have captured Kotiv. So I mean in the last SITREP that we have reported. So the Russian forces fully captured everything of the west of Novopetrovka towards Shevchenko Pershi. In the mapping, they have not mapped it in a way that they have lost of Shevchenko Pershi yet, but most likely based on this consideration they have, because the Ukrainian mapping by Deep State UA actually conceded that the gray zone is pretty big. So let me move to over here. So can I zoom? Yeah, you can see this. It looks something like this, right? So yeah, yeah, it looks. It's something like this. So, but the thing is that if you look at this area here, they have gray zone this area. So as I said before, the Ukrainians like to do this gray zoning to cover up potential losses of territory. So the Russian forces have most likely captured Shevchenko Pershi, and they have already entered into Kharkiv and perhaps even captured it. So this is likely the reality right now. And if you look from the Ukrainian mapping, they even went further up. No, the Russian forces actually captured further more positions than just this. But in our DPS mapping, we do not we don't do gray zones, because I usually find that very arbitrary. Like, you might as well just draw the whole gray zone across the entire of Ukraine, since everything is temporary, right? Ukraine is going to capture back the entire of Ukraine. So so that's not a good way to map it, I feel. It's good for analysis of the frontline situation, potentially where is the no man's land, but in our mapping, we are trying to track the progress of the war, so it's a bit different. So that's the thing. The move is almost 4 kilometers to the west. In the lower parts is around 2.5 kilometers. So this is a huge amount of ground loss, and this is unlikely happened over 24 hours. This is probably already happened a long time ago, and the Ukrainians are only just starting to give up the claim, because if they don't, they're going to start to look stupid when the Russians start to raise the flag in Kharkiv, suddenly skipping Shevchenko Pershi entirely. So they have to update this first before all those footages went public. So that's Shevchenko Pershi. This is a big piece. This is 15.4 square kilometers. The next frontline change is over at Zaparisia, over in the Komar front. This Komar, so the Ukrainian mapping have updated. So this is our yesterday's frontline changes report, where the Russians claimed a big chunk of the territory like this. The Ukrainian mapping have updated their mapping to show that the Russian forces have moved towards Zaparisia in this way. So a bit of a cope. Like clearly there's not gonna be Ukrainian forces here, and if the Russian forces do a flanking operation like this, I have my doubts whether the Ukrainians still have positions all around here. Yeah, so it's a bit weird, because if the Russians have such a thin line, why the Ukrainians do not just cut them off and encircle them? Like, the Ukrainians could have done this. The fact that they did not clearly shows that the actual front line doesn't look so thin. It's not like this. It's probably much bigger. Yeah, probably looks like this. So the Russian forces, according to the Ukrainians, is now on the verge of attacking Zaparisia. They are less than a kilometer away. So the Russians probably at the tree line, they can prepare here. So from a tree line to the first building is 660 meters. So the Russians are now very close to attacking Zaparisia itself. As I mentioned before, this is going to happen pretty quickly. So this is exactly what's happening right now. It's moving really quickly right now. So as the main reason why I said that this front line here, this area here will collapse quickly, is because there's really no very good place to defend. And even this 3-liter village is not particularly good defensive position, and there's a very limited crossing. I think there's one crossing here, maybe a limited crossing here, I'm not sure. So there's not a lot of crossing around this the rivers here, so it's not a good defensive position. So I don't expect the Ukrainians to put up too much resistance in this sector. After this Zaparisia one, just to measure a bit, the advance based on the Ukrainians concept is 6 kilometers, 5.6 kilometers. This is very, very deep. So which means this did not happen over a day. Usually it's probably happened around 2 days. So the Ukrainian mapping is lagging over here. The next frontline change is these two pieces. So these two pieces here, these two. So the one is over in the north. Ukrainian mapping have mapped that the Russian forces have captured more grounds from the geolocations that we have previously. So at least this sector here is now confirmed captured by the Russian forces, while the others are still under Russian claims. And over in the south, the Ukrainian mapping have given up this position that the Russian forces have fully secured this outskirt of Komar, where all this forest line is now firmly under Russian control. I believe that we will start to see the Ukrainians over the next few days slowly giving up this impossible salient, because this is actually now impossible salient. It's now looking like this. It looks really bad. Like, it looks like something that I don't want to talk about. So the Russians captured here, it looks really bad. It just looks really bad. So to be here, yeah, this is pretty impossible. And as I mentioned, the lines, it should be bigger, most likely. So yeah, then it's going to be like this. Very, 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 very bad. Yeah. So anyway, this impossible salient will be given up, I think, in the next few days, one by one, and then we'll be able to know. We'll be able to see big frontline changes, like 20 square kilometers, like just from this alone. So we're gonna do some calculation. The Ukrainians did not capture any grounds, unfortunately, for the Ukrainians, and the Russians captured 4.69 plus 1.03 plus 15.4 plus 7.03. So total area captured by the Russian forces is 28.15 square kilometers. I would say it's around 20 if you discard some of these overlapping ones. So that's it. So the Russian forces continue to march on. Thank you for watching. Press the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys. And happy birthday to you if your birthday today. And also, today is Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers in this in that watch this video. And happy Father's Day. And I'll see you guys in the next update.